Star Rupture is a up-and-coming open-world survival, exploration, factory, automation, building game. And I am fortunate enough to get a key to their new playtest. So thank you very much, Creepy Jar. And if you'd like to know more about this stunning-looking game, stick around and let's get into some gameplay. Now, the playtest I have access to here is around about 3 hours of content, so it really does only focus on the early game sections. We start here very much like Satisfactory in a kind of drop pod type deal. We've got a few storage lockers here, but you can see the 4 pods. Unfortunately, it does appear that there is only one class to choose from here in the playtest, and that is the Scientist. But we have 4 classes in the full game: Biologist, Scientist, Engineer, and Soldier. And it is confirmed for 4-player co-op. So that is going to create some interesting dynamics, I think. And we've got a basic item crafting printer. And we've got a little welcome letter here. And a little bit like Planet Crafter, you're a convict sent here to essentially, well, send resources back to corporations. And then we open the hatch of our airlock, and we are here. On a pretty cool looking planet. Straight off the bat, it's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. It doesn't appear to be mucking about with things like oxygen. I don't have to worry about breathing, which, to be honest, is a nice relief. I've had enough of games where it's just, okay, you've got to constantly manage your oxygen. You do have to manage health, food, water. There is also a toxicity thing. You do have a shield straight off the bat to protect you, and of course your health bar as well. Reasonable inventory that doesn't seem to be held back by weight or volume. It's just slots. And this is the world. Now, at the moment, it's not a random generated world or anything like that. This is hand-drawn, which I think is good for this sort of game. There will come a time where, obviously, you've learned every inch of this map, but maybe the devs will add more maps in the future. We don't know. Let's mine some rocks. I always end up seeming to play games where I point lasers at rocks, but if I find myself actually enjoying this rock laser pointing game, because you got to find, well, you don't have to, but you can find these little weak points here throughout the rock that reduce its overall hit points before you then get the main thing. And we can see other rocks with the little smoke trails above them, so we've got a lot of mining up ahead of us. I've disabled the tutorial for the purpose of this video so that I can talk to you guys. We don't have it. The computer voice talking to us, but I have to say the tutorial on this game is pretty good. It's pretty good, and it's definitely worth doing. This here is actually a titanium deposit, and just like Satisfactory, you can mine straight out the deposit. It's slow, but you know, it will give you some ores. Just over here is another deposit. We start with titanium and wolfram. So even if you don't have the meteorites, or you run out of resources from the meteorites, you can actually do it straight from the deposit. Now, part of this game is very much the factory aspect. In fact, the whole premise of this game is the factory aspect. So let's get into doing some building. It's pretty basic to start off with. We'll start with a little core. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. There we go. It's kind of like a umbrella type thing. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. You might have noticed that the name Rupture is not just an ever-shrinking list of words to put after the word star. There is actually a meaning for Rupture, and it would appear that this world is, well, prone to some kind of solar calamities every now and again. You can kind of make out the sun or whatever it is over the clouds there. It doesn't really look like a sun, but every now and again, I think the planet essentially gets scorched. And it does remind me a little bit of a game called YouDoYou-Crafters, which I played a while back. where every now and again your planet just gets swamped by a massive tidal wave and you've got to take cover and things like that. So, but I would say it's like, unlike Edencraft, this is a hell of a lot less janky and a lot more refined, not to mention prettier as well. And the developers seem to have put a lot more kind of emphasis into the character and the character building. We've got stats, levels, and so on and so forth. And as we previously saw as well, we've got different classes with different abilities and stuff. Anyway, we do need to build ourselves a little habitat. That is actually going to cost us more resources than we've got. But we picked up some wolfram and we picked up some titanium. But we just need a little fabricator. Thankfully, our drop pod can provide. I'm hoping the developers continue their efforts to improve character mobility as well, much like in Satisfactory, as we could slide down hills quite nicely, which is always a lovely touch. We need building materials. We'll build the max of that.
Great.
And I'll pick up that stuff that I accidentally put into storage. And we got little plants and stuff dotted around.
Come here.
And, well, the name suggests these are hydro bulbs, so that'll probably be how we get water. And the other ones that look like corn dogs, well, yeah, you guessed it. We can see here our stats. We'll level up. And we'll be able to use something called an LEM station later on to adjust our skills based on the XPs and the unlocks that we get in here. Habitat then. Here we go. Bingo. And yes, we can stack these on top of each other. Create a little airlock so we can get in. We need to jump up here because actually you don't unlock the stairs until later, so I hope I've given myself enough room to jump. So if I can't get up here, I'm a little bit screwed. I may have just screwed myself. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, you can place the habitat, but you can't place the stairs to get into it until later. Well, it's, you know, it's a playtest. These things are change. So we need a corporate terminal and a little fabricator printer thing. There we go. Corporate terminal. This is how we start unlocking things. We can claim this. Gives us basic habitat modules and advanced stuff. And then we can claim level 1 of each other one because we skipped the tutorial. It gives us essentially everything we need to get going. So there's the rails, conveyors and stuff like that. Now if we check our build menu, we've got a lot more stuff, which is excellent. Now the general idea is we build this orbital cargo launcher and we start fulfilling contracts on the corporate board there. I'm more interested in the stairs right now. Hang on. Simple things. We fulfill the corporate stuff here so that we can unlock more things, and you can see here what you can unlock: the regeneration chamber, which is where you respawn if you die, fabricator for building more advanced components, pistol for obvious reasons, a recipe station, and personal storage, and so on and so forth. So we probably want to sort of go down the fabricator route. We won't be able to do anything with this until we get an orbital launcher. And the fabricator, as you can see, if we hover over it, it produces, or it allows us to produce a load more items and things like that, just like the constructors do in Satisfactory. So there we go. That's our mission number 1. Let's get ourselves an ore extractor. And these things snap onto these deposits nicely. I'm going to give us a little bit of room here. Build that one there. There we go. And let's get ourselves the all-important orbital... the orbital yeet machine. I mean, just orbitally lob things across the galaxy, and there we go. We can build platforms out. So we can make our bases nice and tidy, and I must say that the building in this game is incredibly simplistic yet satisfying. There we go. Orbital launcher there. We are going to need to power it, though. Everything just sort of snaps together really nicely. There's no... you hold Alt and it just snaps lovely. So the sun is that way. I don't think it really matters, but get a couple of those. There we go. Lovely. I like the animations on those things. They're really cool. A couple of solar panels and we're powered up. Electricity is automatically transferred by connecting things, so plates, or in this case it will be rails. So here we go, we select what we want to give them, and it looks like they all want some kind of ingot at the moment. I have to remind myself what reward do we want? On the fabricator, right? So we go in here and we go, I think it's, yeah, the Selenian Corporation want the fabricator. And so they want wolfram bars and titanium bars. Start with titanium bars, nice and easy. Okay. Now we got to build some rails and some fabricators and things like that. So we get the rail connection here. This is slightly awkward because it's a middle. It's like, this is one of the things that does annoy me about this game. That is a middle insert. So it's actually splits between two, but the rail connectors are all on grid. So, yeah. Sorry. Your neat and tidy OCD brains are not going to be satisfied in this game in its current state. Hopefully we can get some more things that give us some nice straight right angles, but right now that's what we have to deal with. I do actually think these rails are pretty cool over, say, you know, conveyors and stuff. Conveyors are always like so bulky and whatnot. But there we go. Okay, so why aren't we getting titanium coming out of there? Oh, right, because we actually need a freaking smelter first, don't we? I am being complete nut donut, which is really nice that it doesn't actually send things before you're ready because you're being a complete spoon. Right, there we go. Smelter. We'll just go ahead and delete that. There we go. And we get the rail straight from there into there. Titanium bars, please. This won't power on now until I connect this rail into that. There we go. Powered on. Titanium goes in. Bars come out. Pretty straightforward. And this thing will just start sending it straight off. It's kind of like, you know, the Satisfactory when you get the space elevator. You're going straight for that. The space elevator in this case is like a micro rocket launching thing. Yeah, they're sent off into space to be sent to the corporation, and we are led to believe that those little pods can achieve faster than light travel. But there we go. Yeah. Well, it really is the crux of the game, but it builds on that because obviously it escalates the requirements, and yeah, you eventually need thousands of these things. Maybe not thousands, but you know what I mean. A lot. Many. Loads. Okay. So we got some basic stuff like viewpoints and vertical connectors and things like that. So we can decorate our house to make it look pretty and whatnot. Pretty and things. There we go. And like I say, we can stack these modules on top of each other. Keep pressing escape to try and close the thing. It's not, it's Q. There you go, and the windows do merge together right nicely. So there we go, we start to see the bar light moving up on there, and once we've fulfilled the XP requirement to that, we will be able to unlock the fabricator. And we can speed things up. We can speed things up two ways. We can get another titanium mine and another smelter and merge that in. I did find these things. Look, it's got 77 titanium bars in it. So it's actually firing them off slower than this thing's feeding it. Let's run around and get some titanium then. And this kind of leads us into the second part of this game, and that is the exploration part of it. And you can see just by looking around the world the various points of interest. Like massive, I don't know what that is, engine module or something of a ship. There we got some kind of beacon type thing going on over there. There's an old base over there because we are not the first. And as we explore, we'll find remnants of previous prisoners, convicts that were sent to this planet to essentially do the same thing and have subsequently failed and have been, well, I don't want to spoil anything, to be honest. Let's just say they failed. Loads of unique resources can be found just by exploring and going out. And like I said before, the actual act of mining these meteorites and stuff is pretty satisfying when you find these little soft spots around. Rather than just pointing a laser at a rock and waiting for a progress bar to work down, you know, there's a little bit of thought about it, a little bit of intervention required to make it work, and I like that. I don't like this pointing a laser at a rock for no reason. Oh yeah, and your characters talk as well, and that may be to its detriment, I gotta be honest. The characters talking, some people are like that, the extra dialogue and stuff in this game, some people are going to be on board with that, but I imagine it's going to get irritating for many. A silent protagonist in a game like this, I feel like, is probably better, but I don't think it's going to ruin it. Here we go. Right. Rotate that. I'm going to need a smelter for that as well. Now, I've got the wolf thingy, whatever it is, linked up here. I've got to a smelter and I've got to a thing, but none of it's going to work because it's not powered on. To power it on, like I said before, you just need to connect it. And that is both platforms and stairs. And there we go. So we can do this one and we go choose the wolf room. I don't know why I've got such a blind spot for that, honestly. Wolf room. We need to set the smelter to wolf room, and then this thing should kick off. That should turn it into bars, and then that should go into our orbital launcher, which will further our XP towards that particular corporation. You're probably going to want 2 launchers per corporation. And once you get all the resources set up, you can run them all simultaneously. Right now, we're that far through to claiming our fabricator. Well, there we go. That's the general principle of the factory game anyway. Let's fast forward to a game I was playing earlier where we're a little bit further along. And here we are. And you can see I have got a pistol. So I'm a little bit further along. A little bit able to defend myself. And we can see just over there, that is where my bases are. Bases, yeah. Okay, so I came up here to do a bit of exploration because the other part of this game that is, well, a massive part of this game is exploring. So this is one of the old burnt out habitats from some previous occupants of the planet. We're going to explore this today. Rubble pile. Unknown storage device. All right, sweet. So we've got to crouch to get in here. Calcium blocks, unknown modules. I'm running out of room. Look at this, synthetic. Something or others. Yeah, I can't take that. I've got to drop something. Well, I think, you know, it's gonna... First of all, can we sort this? Let's see. Sort. That does give me a box back. There we go. Low calories. You can see it's complaining. I do need to eat. I'll eat some of these corn dogs.
Advise caution. The fruit on Arcadia can alleviate hunger, but putting unknown things into one's mouth is rarely beneficial to the individual. Though, of course, it was beneficial to the development of civilization.
Yeah.
Although this fruit is edible, that won't always be the case.
And there's our computer lady, and that's why I shut her up at the start of this video. LEM system testing report. So it looks like we've got some backstory here about LEM testing report, dizziness, shortness of breath, colorblind. Oh my gosh, wow. So those are the side effects of using the LEM stuff. It behaves as expected in some respects better than Earth conditions. We will soon proceed to testing in combat environments. So these are guys who were 12 days in. Dr. Beatrice Laskowski was not a prisoner then. Doctor. Why is that DR and that's Doctor? Is that a translate fail?
Lovely.
That's day 12. That's 36. Well, 36. There we go. So a bit of lore about background about the planet there. Let's not go too much into that though. Let's see. I think thank you very much for the follow just then. Randomly in my video. Thank you. Right. Have a little look see. And this is just one of quite a few points of interest. This is quite a good vantage point. Although it's hazy, it's difficult to see, but there's obviously something over there. We've got some green smokiness over there, which would indicate some toxic stuff. Maybe we need to have some environmental protection to go into that area. And then there's a huge building up there in the mountains. I don't know if you can just about see it. Not to mention, obviously, that massive... what is that? Oh, it's Wolfram plate. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop something. I think, yeah, this is going to be a thing. You can actually expand your inventory. One of the things you can do. You can upgrade to expand your inventory. So that's useful. Alright, how do we get in here then? Well, it's blown open on the other side. Now we go sneaking around the side. Oh, that was close. Oh, it looks like we can jump across as well. Look at this. Ammo. We've got a PDA. Yeah, notes for the LEM system. Hello. Oh boy. I believe we're under attack. Whoa! Alt dodges. Very useful. Ah, I got toxic. Ow. Infection levels went really high then. Whoa! Gosh. Okay, I'm so glad I got this pistol. Whew. And I was not expecting that. And there we go. Fortuitous timing, I suppose, in the case of this video, because now we can see a little bit of combat. I am going to have to go back and unload. I've got too much inventory, and this place is an absolute loot pinata. There's so much here, and I need to offload. So there is a slight problem. I don't have any personal storage back at base. Let's have a look at this. Look at this calcium block, more ore, and a stabilizer. And there's a destroyed food station where there's loads of stuff here. Oh my god. And even the bodies could be looted with lesser life giver LEM, increased max health by 12. Lots of gear here that I'm perhaps not even ready for because I don't have all the stations and stuff in order to take them. But let's head back because this is quite extensive. There's a lot of loot to give, and I have no place to take it. So let's head back. We'll see what and how my base is doing with a bit of extra time in the game.
Prepare yourselves for a wave.
Okay, I just got a warning. Something called a Rupture activity. Prepare for a wave. I'm not sure what she's talking about. This was not covered in the tutorial. It does look like the sun, or whatever it is quite a bit brighter now than I remember it. Things are starting to sound a little ominous. Oh gosh. Okay, I think I might know what the Rupture event is. I saw this on the trailers, and we're in serious trouble. I need to get back to the base. Another wave warning. We can see the base here. I am so close now. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. This is not good. Oh my gosh. I've got 10 seconds to get inside. Holy moly. I'm gonna make it. I gotta make it with 1 second to...
eruption has started.
Woof.
Rupture has started. Hide.
Hide? Really? Oh my gosh. Oh!
Extreme temperature detected.
Holy crap! The whole base is smoking. I feel like this thing would be an oven. I have got an upstairs, but I haven't actually kitted it out at all. But let's see if we can put some viewpoints in a second and have a little look-see. Everything's on fire. Looks like the power's out and everything. Oh my gosh. Can I go out? Very high. Oh!
Returning to normal.
Hang on. It's returning to normal. Maybe we can go out now. Holy. Oh no, I got a heat bar at the bottom there. Wow. E to remove temperature. Where does the heat go? Oh, interesting. I could just do that. This reminds me of volcanoids. After the volcano erupts, everything's just like super scorched and effed up. Look at this! No wonder there's no like trees. That's one of the things I noted when I first fired this game up. Is like there's a complete lack of trees. It all makes sense now. All the vegetation is like really young grass and odd plants that perhaps are able to survive this huge temperature change. Anyway, yeah, here's a base. Again, I got only a couple of these things set up, but it looks like we have... Oh, maybe I got some rewards to claim. Hang on. Level 2. I've already got that one. The recipe station. So we can eat. Yes. Well, we need the fabricator next. So let's go. Titanium bars, please. And Wolframite bars. Wolfram bars. Right, and there we go. Yeah, I need personal storage. So I think that is this one. So I think that's more important than the fabricator right now. We're going to send them off to a different corporation in order to get a personal storage box, and then I can offload my inventory and we can carry on exploring. The steam coming off this thing here. So this thing has got an interesting overheat, like cooling capacity, 65 of 100. Danger level, 95. I don't even know what half of this stuff means, I gotta be honest. Let's try out our new recipe station, though. Here we go.
You can now unlock new functionality for your buildings at the recipe station.
Oh.
But the buildings can already do these things. Why would we need to unlock anything?
Arcadia 7 is a very particular place, full of specific resources and requirements. The building's programming needs to be updated as these requirements change, to avoid unnecessary clogging up memory, as well as transfer fees.
It's the Claywood Corporation that determines the cost of transfer. You could lower the price and everything would go smoother.
I'll respond with one of Mr. Claywood's favorite sayings. This is exactly why you're not the richest person in the world.
Yep. That sounds about right. I would say as well that some of the dialogue, they've inserted some pretty good humor in here. It's like Subnautica level. I do like it. But there we go. It's the recipe station. So we unlock like the ability to process calcium blocks now. And we can upgrade or unlock food and water and stuff and things. The world looks rather different now, doesn't it? And this is another really, really interesting and cool feature with Star Rupture here is the world changes. I mean, geographically, it's the same. Like, the mountains are still where the mountains are and stuff like that. But look, we now have new resources and glowing stuff to pick up. Firewave ore. And eventually, after a bit of time, I'm thinking all these plants will regrow and it'll turn into that lush green world that we saw just a minute ago. Oh, and this is the analysis station. And we can put some things in here and claim data points.
Day for science.
300 data points. 500 data points. You get the idea. And then what can we do with that? Well, we can just...
Congratulations. Clever Robotics has received its order.
We can just...
for fulfilling the order is waiting for you in the terminal.
Throw points at the problem. And there we go. Like, you usually have to get points by sending resources up to these things, but you can also send data. This is not necessarily all just about automating these resources in and funneling them in. There you go. You can do it via data as well, and that is from exploration. But by speeding it along, we now have personal storage. And look, we can mount them into the walls, and they stack. These stack. This is freaking... If you want any reason to get this game, that's it right there. Look at that. It's beautiful. And we can change the name of them. Oh my god. I'm so excited right now. Wow. That was really quick, actually. Arcadia 7 has finished regenerating. The sun is doing more weird things. But I guess we'll leave it to do those weird things for now. Okay. Inventory empty. Let's get back up there. As if you think about it, the plants and stuff and wildlife on this planet has all adapted to these ruptures. So under the ground, they put a pretty good root system that is able to allow them to regenerate very quickly. Anyway, here we are back at the POI, and we can actually finally now loot. Although I'm like looking at my inventory, it is very quickly filling up. It is crazy. Yeah, this really lends itself to co-op, really, because until you get like larger backpacks and stuff like that, you are going to fill yourself up in one of these POIs so damn quick. This is just the stuff that's lying on the floor. Look, lots of these war bonds which are used in the weapon upgrade stations. Yeah, look, unknown sphere. That just sounds so like Satisfactory, doesn't it? The wolf ore and the titanium ore I'm going to drop because I can get them. I've got them literally on refineries. I don't need to carry them here. So I think you've got to pick and choose what to carry, especially if you want to carry the sulfuric acid. You know, you want to carry the stuff that you're not already mining. Last little building here. Look at this. Titanium housing and rods. These are advanced materials. Another body. Another... Uh-oh. Oh god. Well, they just seem to spawn there. They just seemed to spawn there, didn't they? Not 100% sold on that, if I'm honest. Oh, and if you were wondering, yes, those bugs will attack your base. And you do need to defend it. And yes, you can get turrets. If you wanted a game that is first-person Factorio with exploration, this may be it. This might be it. It actually might be it. Whether it's as in-depth as Factorio, almost certainly probably not. But yeah, it's going to be up there, I think, dudes. It really is. Anyway, that is pretty much the entire place explored, and we got loads of stuff from there. A lot of it I can put into the research station for data points and then unlock more things. In all honesty, guys, I think this is going to be a really big game based on just a 3-hour playtest. And I've not even got through the full 3 hours yet. And I'm in. I am in. Everything feels good. The movement feels good. The shooting feels okay. I mean, this is a starter pistol, so don't expect anything crazy. But, you know, you get much bigger, better weapons later. The exploration on even the little bit that I've done is on point. And from what I've seen of trailers and things like that, it gets so much better. The whole rupture system, okay. I guess there's a reason behind it. It seems to regenerate the planet really, really quickly. Maybe that's a playtest thing. But I'm led to believe that the rupture changes the map in some way. Opens up areas that you couldn't go in before and things like that. So I think the rupture is probably a method of keeping the map changing and keeping things interesting. And I wonder if it does it randomly for every game as well. So even though it's a hand-drawn map, every game will be slightly different in some ways. We'll have to wait and see as the game develops, but I mean, I'm already just with being able to put wall storage in and stack it and change the names, I'm happy. I'm well happy. Simple things. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm going to leave this video with the gameplay trailer. And thank you so much for watching. I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think? I certainly really hope to bring you more of Star Rupture as it develops and we get more access to the game, because I think this is going to be a good one. Anyway, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the trailer, and I'll see you in the comment section down below. Take care. Bye-bye.